What's up, family? Welcome back to another legendary top of the movie reaction video. As usual, man, I give my first time real raw and uncut reaction. I break down the lyricism, I break down the lyrics, trying to understand the message of the song that's being portrayed through visuals and see how it's aligned. Um, it aligns the lyrics aligns with the message, let alone allow aligns with something being valuable, right? So then we can extract the value from the song, which is the message that resonates with us, and then we can apply it to our lives to continue to be great individuals, right? And that's where we have the conversation, or we have the conversation, me and you, family, I should say, and having different collective perspectives on what message we have received from the song that resonates with us. And I just want to give a quick disclosure. I can hear the headphones. I can hear the song on my headphones. No, you guys cannot hear the audio. Only I can, due to copyright purposes. However, if you want to, you're welcome to watch along with me. Um, on another device or so forth where you can hear the audio on your end on your behalf. But far as the video, yes, the audio is not being heard because of copyright purposes. But I will be breaking down and you will see my commentary and how I receive the song and also what message I get from the song, let alone my perspective. All right. But before we get into the song, I always like to say or explain the background meaning or theme of the song, right? And then after I explain the background meaning and theme of the song before we start the song and listen to it to see how the theme and the background is aligned with the song and then the message we receive and then the message I receive on how I can relate to it in my life or relate to it and how it resonates with me far as me from an individual standpoint, and then I like to ask you guys, perspective and how it resonates with you. Okay, so the video starts with two hosts introducing Namjoon's new song in their show, The Lost Show, starring RM. The video then shows Namjoon's head popping up from the desk. Next, he is shown inside a maze. The video progresses to show how he finds himself in different situations, but feels he's always lost. Makes sense, right? Because the title of the song is Lost with an exclamation mark. That the emphasis there. The video also highlights how the presence of friends changes a person's situation and one can find their way back to themselves. Okay, so also Lost is like an alternative pop song about those who cannot find answers and are lost because of contradictory, or I should say this, contradictory feelings, or contrary, or let's put it like this, contradicting feelings. So Lost is an alternative pop song about those who cannot find answers and are lost because of contradicting feelings, or contradictory feelings. Put it there. The song expresses that even such a situation might be okay when with friends. Lost is also a reminder of the fragility of human emotions in the struggle to find oneself amidst the chaos of life. The raw vulnerability in his lyrics and the haunting melody of the track makes it an instant classic. You know, as we are fans and supporters and, love his music and also love the value that he gives to us, which is the message he gives to us and portrays to us through his song and his artistry, that we tend to embrace. Um, his ability, which is mind blowing, is to capture the essence of human experience with such authenticity and depth, creating a masterpiece just like that. So, however, his song is also a reflection of his soul. It's breathtakingly amazing, and it tends to impress us due to it being a reflection of his soul, being authentically him with his talent, depth and creativity. His ability to touch hearts and touch our hearts with his music is unmatched. And how relatable it is. We all can relate to a time where we have once been lost or trying to figure things out, and through the chaos of life, that's when we learn things, right? We all have been at moments where we feel like we're wandering aimlessly, unsure what our next step should be. But Namjoon, or RM, we should say, reminds us that even in those moments, we can find our way back to ourselves. All right? So, with that being said, I'm not going to do no more talking, family. Let's get into the video, family. I like the jazzy vibes here. The Lost Show. That's different. And before we continue, family, the beginning with the talk show, inside Namjoon's brain, place was a label on his head at the beginning, as you seen, as it began with a small animation to anticipate his performance. It said on his forehead, inside Namjoon's brain, placed as a label on his forehead. This made me wonder whether it could refer to the irony of the thin line between art and ethics, which has been highly modified and changed once with the entertainment industry, because now each lyric from his highly autobiographical works could be easily turned against him and become either a question meant to put him in a situation or a controversy if it is used to satisfy the so-called needs and the curiosity of the general public. The animation could be easily interpreted as the limited freedom he has in such context and how, despite it, he will still be manipulated by a script, other rules, the technology, and the cameras. That's interesting, family. Mm. Give it up for RM. My man excited. How you get love. And then another small detail, man. It's like the maze is meant to represent the dilemma, you know, mentioned before about easily being molded into the graphics and design of the show. How everything, each aspect of someone exposed to the public becomes a new headline, a new story, a new unserious topic. And I feel like us being introduced with two typical host, as you've seen, um, that hosts the show, who are the bad actors who don't even try to hide it with the fake smiles and the irony of how they talk. Korean feels somehow as if they were mocking them, trying to make them feel welcome while showering the entire introduction with sarcasm. I think it might be a criticism not only to the industry, but especially to how they have been treated in the beginning and how much hasn't changed since then. On their mugs, if you have seen in Korean, which translates to inside Namjoon, and there might be another reference to inside Namjoon's brain and the dilemma of the artist's works in social media mainstream and how his image, or worse, his work and privacy becomes a brand used for marketing or entertainment purposes. That's interesting because usually a lot of public figures, brand is their name because they have the publicity that comes along with their name holding so much weight, right? Mm. And then it appears like he was lip syncing at the beginning. Is it me, family? Comment down below. And then appearing lost. Because he just stopped singing. He just looking around like, what the heck? So, I'm wondering if this is a reference to the alienation that they have felt on those shows or American shows, and how the attitude of the presenters might have had a certain impact on how they felt before delivering the performance, but how they still had to pull through it and not fall into the trap and conform to what they were expected to conform to. I'm not talking about the lip singing here. That is another aspect. And I really want to point out the exaggeration of the action and lack of synchronization. Funny but sad, but it does represent a reality, you know. And then, quote unquote, he says, take it for loved. Take it for love. I wonder whether in this context, this lyric could be also interpreted as, quote unquote, endure it for the love. As endure what you are going through right now. This irony, sarcasm, and humiliation to show your fans your performance and pay back for their love, especially before he says, quote unquote, how do you get lost? Take it from the love like us. In a video where he listened to the album with Jung, he mentioned the burden of being a leader and how it always was expected for him to hold speeches and interviews and always be up to the level and be so connected with that image, which itself had its purposes, made him lose himself, I should say. As he's standing in a maze, around him appear more like him. I like the beat, man. Mm. I like the beat. Mm, mm, mm. Up and then the ground, pick it up, throw it in the trunk. I like that little chorus right there. This does remind me of a pop song, man. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. Hold on, run that back. He said, I get lost in the ground, but not begging at you. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, 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 mm. So then when we kind of go behind the scenes, I don't know, family. It's like, this is my analysis. I'm going to continue. Then when we kind of go behind the scenes, there where we are met with the anatomy of each industry, where you're everyone until you stand out. He somehow seems to be the only one who is lost because he is more dynamic than the rest and doesn't follow a script or the norms. But anyway, they are all limited in their own limits, which have been created for them and handed down. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. I hit the club. And I want to hit on that. In automatony, there appears an exit sign. And it's a matter of luck of who gets to be the one to escape. A play of rock, paper, scissors. I know that the arrow for exit signs always point at the top. But in this context, it makes me wonder whether it could also mean that the only way to escape this anatomy or anatomy is to climb up the social ladder. There it is promised that something will be different when in essence it's the same thing. The moment where he climbs up to the top being sustained by the others makes me wonder if it's commentary on the collectivist culture which is followed by Korea too, and how now he has become a representative of many, a symbol, but at the same time the big number of people which stand behind even the smallest success. Namjoon is now at the top, the figure representing everyone else. Faced with burdens of another absurd he escaped from, still having to work to represent and honor the people in the shadow. Mm. Interesting. As they look up while he's up there, you know, being introduced again after the song has played. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. And then when at the beginning, just to go back a little bit, when he was suddenly like stop singing and looking around, and he see himself in other people's faces, or maybe more accurately, would be that others see themselves in Najum's words because he is the one delivering them. This makes me think how, despite the appearances, everyone, the usually unconscious people working in the system, even the fake lady who introduced him sarcastically, is at core humans who are either awakened back to reality by art, quote unquote, or in parentheses, I should say, the person behind the camera who started singing at once, Namjoon, and continue even when he stopped, or they found themselves in art and words. So my question to come to be after I just explain my analysis and breakdown from the visuals and the lyrics being said from the song Lost, you know, it seems to sum up as they were looking up as he climbed up. But anyway, they are limited in their own limits, which have been created for them and handed down, right? They have been limited, but then it goes to say, even though at the top figure, he's being the top figure representing everyone else, faced with burdens of another, still having to work to represent honor the people in the shadow. So even if it seems like you ever felt like family when you have succeeded, and you can't succeed by yourself. As much as you want to believe it, you cannot succeed by yourself. There will be people in your life for a season, or your people in your life for a lifetime. And at the end of the day, there were people that be in your life at a certain season or lifetime or a certain time period in your life that served the purpose for you to continue to grow and evolve and move forward. But then it's even harder. Have you ever had someone that played a big part in your life, and at a certain time, even though you had put in the work to get where you are to be successful, but there have been people and resources at the right time in the right place that came in place for you to achieve that higher purpose? Has there ever been someone from your past or in the shadow from being one of the people and the resources that you came along as you were working your way up, and you still had to put in the work yourself individually, and it been lonely, where they felt like at the end of the day, them being in the shadows, they feel like they're owed something, and you still have to carry their burden of them helping you, because they feel like you owe them something for the success that you have worked hard to get on your own, most importantly. So comment down below if you ever felt like you were in the shadows of other people for your success that you put in the hard work for, even though they were a resource or a person that came along in that due time to help you get where you were, or help you get where you are. So comment down below if you ever felt like you still had to lift up individuals that's in the shadows that played some way part while you were doing the hard work to get where you are. Comment down below. And on top of it, comment down below if you ever felt limited based on a situation that you end up mentally limiting yourself. And at the end of the day, you felt lost at one point in time in your life where you felt so limited and stagnant. Comment down below. And I say all that to say is that a lot of times we have to be at peace and be still in a moment where we're not understanding what's going on, but stay course to the path and be very intentional. So you may be lost, but as you stay focused and you wake up with intent, and you wake up with a regimen, and you wake up with an agenda, which once lost will be found again. Just like, so I say that to say that you can learn yourself, the stranger that was once yourself. You can learn to love and learn yourself again, right? Because you may have had individuals that may be in the shadows that may have threw you off or limited you to being at your full potential, mentally, just giving that limited energy to you, where you end up soaking that up mentally, where you end up limiting yourself on your behalf because of the people you surrounded yourself with, or they felt entitled, or they felt like you should be lifting them up with you, even though they don't want to do the work, but you are. Even though they may have introduced you to something to implement your life to be successful, but you still had to put in the work. So just think of it. There's always been times where there have been peaks and valleys in life and chaos and feeling lost. But at the end of the day, and people that may have been there in your life that may have not have your best interests, that limited you because they had a limited mindset for the energy they gave off, let alone being in the shadow, feeling like you owe them something, and you're picking up their burdens because they may have introduced you to something where you had to implement and be consistent about and put it in the work. That, like, someone may have introduced you to a resource or idea, and you put in the work to achieve, but they still feel like you should be picking up their burden since you achieved it and they couldn't. So, is there times where you may always feel like, and this I can relate to this. You may feel like you had to separate yourself, and it's okay to be different. And sometimes you have to love people differently, because if not, the individuals in the shadows that feel like you should uplift their burdens and feel like you owe them something, and then they feel like at the end of the day the energy they're giving off, because they limit themselves, and just because you believe in yourself, they feel like you should have the same mindset as them by limiting yourself. So family, comment down below, have you ever felt like someone, you know, felt like you owed them? Have you ever been around individuals that had a limited mentality and end up carrying over to you? And have you ever felt like when you were lost that you just needed to keep focus on what you do know, so when was lost can be found again? Comment down below. And that's my last question. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. Give this video a big thumbs up. It helps catch that YouTube algorithm. It's totally free. And like I always say, until next time, peace.